Good evening, my friends. We are here and thank you for joining me tonight. This is another evening of coming together to have Bible study. If you have not read from Genesis to Revelation, this is the place you'd like to be at 6 o'clock every evening. I appreciate those of you that have come. We start off. Thank you for those that are here. Obviously, I like to come right off the bat before we get started and say thank you. One reason the Bishop of Twitch is here. So much love to you, my brother. Lisa Pisa is back. Thank you for returning on this evening, and it's good to have you back in the midst. Kai Chick, hello, my sister, hello. So much love coming to you. Thank you for being with us. KB Browns, that's my brother right there. So much mad love to you, and thank you for being in the room. The lifter of my head, we are going to lift you tonight, and you just rest and receive what God has for you. And it's my prayer and my sincere thought that you will be blessed in some way special on tonight just for pressing to be in here with us on this evening. Truck driver, I love you, sir. Nothing but mad love to you, my beautiful brother. Thank you for being here. Now, you know we don't tarry. We get right into this teaching, and I appreciate those that have come early, but once we start the teaching, we just keep on going. I want to start tonight in the 41st chapter of the book of Genesis. Excuse me. I'm going to begin at the 50th verse. Now, I don't know if you all realize this or not, so I kind of wanted to start here. I like to sometimes get minutia and kick it in and allow you all to maybe pick up a few nuggets here and there. But I want to come to this particular verse. And unto Joseph were born two sons before the years of famine came, which Asenath, the daughter of Potipharah, is real close to Potiphar, isn't it? Priest of On bare unto him. And I wanted to come here for this reason in identifying that even in Joseph's bearing of children and the seed that he had, they came from a priestly element, but not from his father's side. This is, again, the priest of On, and I'm going to say On, but at the end of the day, I could get a whole sermon out of the priest of On, but I won't go there tonight. But I want you to see how there is this spiritual connection. And I expose that and I emphasize that because this brother has been a man of integrity from day one. And I find it interesting that he then marries someone that, some of us would say, oh, he went to a strange land and got strange folk. But even in that, he's got one of the daughters of the priest. The priesthood is on him on both sides. And I just wanted to emphasize that because I don't know how many people actually were aware of that little nugget. Many are not. We just go right on with life and read right over that and don't have that connection. But he married one of the daughters of the priest of On and began to have children. And Joseph called the name of the firstborn Manasseh, for God, said he, hath made me forget all my toil and all my father's house. Now, stay with me because I'm going to come from a little bit of a different angle here tonight. This is beautiful to me because I think one of the things that I identify and what is resonating with me is how so many times when God calls us out from amongst a situation, when God calls us out from amongst the people or whatever you want to fill in the blank with, many times God will begin to allow you to forget the things of your father's house, forget the things of your childhood, forget the things of your past, forget the things that used to hold you down, forget the things that used to shame you, forget the things that used to embarrass you, forget the things that you used to do. When you have, and Joseph once more, and again, the thing that I love about him, such a beautiful spirit. And that's why I'm saying in these days and times, let's aspire and reach for polishing the gift. I'm still feasting off of that word that Dalen gave us on yesterday. Polish that gift. But listen, that takes a little more. There's more work involved. There's more dedication involved. There's more commitment involved. But let's be those kinds of people. Let's not be the mediocre that can just be any old kind of whatever. But let's strive for something greater. And I promise you, you will have a season of Manasseh. Hear me. And I'm saying allegorically, I'm saying really as a matter of looking at this, you will go through a season where God will bless you to birth Manasseh, where you forget the labor, the toil, when you forget the Ishmaelites carrying you off and being sold, when you forget, am I talking to anybody? You forget, and no, I haven't forgotten, but there's a blessing that God has blessed me with. There's something that has birthed forth in this season that allows all of that to be as nothing. Because it can, I listen, there's a scripture that says, I reckon that the sufferings of the present are not worthy to be what's the word, revealed, or not the word, to be compared. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Compared with the glory that shall be revealed in us. There is a glory that's going to be revealed in you that will allow you to forget. Thank you, stay lifted. There, that will allow you to begin to take that you've gone through, and you don't have to continue to grieve over that. You don't have to continue to weep over that. You don't have to continue to remember that with such a loss and with such a pain. God will deliver you from that. There's a glory that shall be revealed in you that's not compared to the suffering that you're going to go through. Now, y'all know I'm not that one that's out here running around saying, yo, suffer, suffer, suffer. But I do know that things happen to us, situations occur where, just like the Ishmaelites being sold off to them, Potiphar being sold off to him, Potiphar's wife coming after you, and you got to run out your coat. And what did we say the other night? I'm going to keep using that. Leave your coat. Leave your coat. Don't go back and get it. Leave your coat and keep on going. Keep running. When you come to the part where, after being lied on and you've been cast into the prison, but then God, all of these places, he just keeps on revealing his glory. He just keeps on showing and manifesting his power. Thank you for that, KB Browns. My brain was moving a little slow. But at the end of the day, thank you for Romans 8:18. For I reckon that the sufferings of the present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory that shall be revealed in us. You will have a Manasseh. Just keep going. Hear me. Just keep going. Keep going. And it may come from the stranger's house, from the priest of On. It may come from the stranger's house. And I'm going to talk a little bit about this. And he said, he has made me to forget all my toil and everything that I went through, my sufferings, and all my father's house. What did I have at my father's house? I had brethren that hated me. I had brethren that wanted to kill me. I had brethren that wanted to do me harm. I had brethren that were willing to sell me off. And then, even to the extent of grieving my father with this lie that they had perpetrated, that I was dead, and didn't care about my aged father and his well-being, his health, mentally, physically, emotionally. You hated me enough that you would disrespect and disregard our father. That's some kind of something going on there. You understand? But Manasseh has blessed me. This birthing forth has allowed me, and again, it's not worthy to be compared. I went through all of that. Yes, I did. But it's not worthy to be compared with my Manasseh. Come on and talk to me. So at the end of the day, I want you to stay in that trend, in that vein. And the name of the second he called Ephraim, for God hath caused me to be fruitful in the land of my affliction. Oh, come on. Somebody needs to embrace your Ephraim, or Ephraim, whichever way you want to pronounce it. I give all the pronunciations because people go a little bit everywhere with it. But the essence of it means, for God hath caused me to be fruitful in the land of my affliction. Kachik, come on here. You understand what I'm talking about. Brothers were dastardly in that moment, KB Browns. But at the end of the day, this is what God is blessing me with. This is what I'm birthing forth, even from the priestess of On. God has blessed me with this season that allows me to be fruitful in the land of my affliction. Listen, I feel something happening already. I'm trying to calm it down. But listen, this is just this. Oh my God, this is good to me. And I wanted to be fruitful in affliction, Crystal Method. To be fruitful, even as he did We talked about this on yesterday. While he was in prison, guess what? He yet went forth in his gift. He didn't stop moving and operating in his gift. He was consistent and faithful and steadfast. Come on. Be ye steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, knowing that your labor is not in vain. I don't care where you put me. You can put me in the prison. You can put me out there in the field. You can put me in the pit, but I will still manifest what God has put down on the inside of me. Am I talking to anybody? Woo! He's made me fruitful in the land of my affliction. That's why I wanted to kind of back up. I know tonight I said we were going to talk about the reconciliation and the restoration, but I wanted to pull these verses in because there's so much right here. From 52 on, there is so much right here. 50, 51, 50. These verses, if you just meditate on them alone and you start thinking about how God, oh my Lord, has allowed him to bring forth these two, and we see it as a representation. Those two sons, we see them as a representation of what God will do in your life. Your Manasseh is here. He has made you, come on. I want you to forget the toil, and I want you to forget all of your father's house. And we know, come on, Romans 8:28, that's a good one, KB. And we know that all things work together for the good of them that love God, to them who are the called according to his purpose. We know this. Woo! I need you to get into your Manasseh moment. I need you to get into your Ephraim moment. For God has caused me to be fruitful in the land of my affliction. I don't care how afflicted you are. I want you to be fruitful and multiply. But now I want to talk about that. And this happened to him before the 7 years of lean. All of this and the 7 years of plenteous that was in the land of Egypt. Now it ended after. You got to get Manasseh and Ephraim down in your spirit before you get down into the barren land. So when you see the time of barrenness and scant resources, you can remember Manasseh and Ephraim. Come on here. That's why I wanted to start there before we got going. Cassandra, heart fixer, mind regulator, womb blesser and blocker, fruit multiplier, protector, everything. You better talk to me in this chat. My God. Now, so we get to the time of leanness. And this is exactly, now he's already got his babies. He's already birthed Manasseh. He's already birthed Ephraim. He's ready. He's ready, y'all. And I want you to get this down in your shando. And again, I'm using this as an allegory, if you will. I want you to get your Manasseh. I want you to get your Ephraim. And I want you to get that down in your shando so that when the lean times come, you can rock steady, baby. Yes. Help me, Retha. Help me. Now, this is where I want to kind of turn the tide just a bit, because I know how we typically go and we tell the story about how the brethren came because Egypt, following the mandate and the revelation of the dream and the interpretation of the dream that Joseph had given during the 7 years of plenteous. As a matter of fact, if you go back to verses, I want to say 47, 48, 49, somewhere in there, you're going to see where Joseph is everything he can. He's storing it up. Everything he can, he's storing it up. He's having the people to store it up so that when the lean times come. Now, come on, let's continue with the analogy. I want you in the season of Manasseh, in the season of Ephraim, go ahead and embrace your baby so that when the lean times come, whoo, am I talking to anybody? When the lean times come, and they shall come, believe me, they will come. You keep living, as my father used to say. You just keep living. It's going to come. It rains on the just as well as the unjust. This whole ideology that we've created, almost like, oh, it doesn't rain on the just. Yes, it does. It rains on the just as well as the unjust. I just like to tell people we just have an umbrella. We've got some galoshes. We have some slickers. We are protected and covered, but it rains on us just like it rains on everybody else. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. And we say this over and over again. It didn't say the weapon wouldn't form. It just said it wouldn't prosper. But if you've got Manasseh and Ephraim in your hands, in your bosom, in your shando, in your spirit, I'm telling you, when the leanness comes, you got something. You got something stored up. Now, I want to come here. And the famine was all over the face of the earth. And so again, we know the story how they started coming from everywhere into Egypt. And there's something about Egypt I love. We know we have a shelter. Oh my goodness, come on here. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. We got a shelter. Now listen, as we go on into this next chapter, I want us to identify. Now, when Jacob saw that there was corn in Egypt, Jacob said unto his sons, why do we look one upon another? Why are we going to sit here and just starve to death and die? And he said, behold, I have heard that there is corn in Egypt. Get you down thither and buy for us from thence, that we may live and not die. And Joseph's 10 brethren went down to buy corn. And now this is what I want you to understand, because I want you to hear this and I want you to hear it well. Those very ones that laid the trap for you, those very ones that caused you to come into a season of leanness, those very ones that threw you in the pit and sold you off to the Ishmaelites, those very ones who took your coat and slathered and smothered blood all over it and took it back and said you were dead, those very ones that plotted and planned and hated you, they will have to come back to you. Am I talking to anybody? They will. But this is what I want to emphasize, and I'm left for dead, Crystal Method. But I tell you what, and it doesn't matter. Some of them may not ever come in a physical way. I believe more times than not they will. But if they never come in a physical way, you best believe in their mind, in their heart, as they ponder that thing, baby, 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 they got to come back to you and acknowledge. Now, here we go. His 10 brethren went down. Now, we didn't have Benjamin because we didn't let Benjamin go because, listen, I've already lost Joseph, Israel is thinking. But Joseph being the son of the one that I loved, I'm surely not going to let Benjamin, who, again, remember, Rachel died in childbirth as she was having him. So here, these two, Joseph and Benjamin, I've already lost Joseph. I'm surely not going to lose Benjamin. So we got the 10 brethren going. Now, I'm going to go a little bit of a different road, and you all can go ahead, and you should have already read this. So I'm not going to go as I have on some occasions where I've read verse by verse by verse, because I really want to get in this 30-minute window. I want to get a thought to you. Now, when they get to Joseph, he's unrecognizable to them. And this is what I want to tell you. When God takes you through your place of transformation, even as he forgot his father's house because of Manasseh, he forgot the toil because of Manasseh, he forgot the left for dead because of Manasseh, I'm telling you, you will have developed and you will have cultivated that intimacy with God, such that the people that used to know you won't even recognize you. Hear me. I'm telling you. They won't recognize. Well, back in the day, they could have pushed your buttons. I can't push your buttons anymore. Back in the day, you would have gone all kind of places in the negative space, negative energy, beating yourself down, going back and listen to me, going back and trying to patch up things that really don't need to be patched. Some stuff you don't patch up, you just throw it away. You understand? And when I say that, I'm not talking about throwing people away. I'm talking about situations. I'm talking about dead places. I'm talking about stuff that we keep trying to resurrect, and God is saying, kill it. Kill it, let it die. Just let it starve to death. Stop feeding it. And that's the thing. Come on, truck driver. That's the thing that some of us have to understand. You're going back and feeding something that dropped them bags. Crystal Method, you're going back and feeding stuff that it no longer serves you. It no longer serves the purpose. It's absolutely draining you. It's taking all of your resources. It's taking everything you have, and you just keep feeding it. And the Lord said, And I'm telling you, hear me when I say this. There are so many, Kai Chick, come on here. There are so many, they've got you down. They've got your image down. They've got your behaviors down. They've got your mindsets down. They've got everything about you down. That's how they're able to push your buttons. But when you get in that intimate place with God and drop them bags, as Crystal Method said, when you get in your place and you begin to grow and you begin to be transformed by the renewing of your mind, they don't even recognize you, because now I can't push that button and get a reaction. Now I can't have access. Some of y'all need to cut access. And this is what I want you to understand. Joseph, as God exalted him, why? Because he was a man of integrity and he would not let go his faith. Hear me. And wasn't nobody standing over him trying to make him do right. He just did right. Unstoppable, grow and flow until you become unrecognizable. The plans God has for us. Come on, Cassandra. That's what I'm trying to get to. That's why I'm doing this in the evenings, because this is where I want us to get to. Listen, hold to his unchanging hand, Crystal Method. Hold. Come on. Trust in him that will not fail you. I need you to. Those buttons can't be pushed anymore, KB Browns. Come on here. Stay lifted. Now, this is what I want you to see, because we get so wishy-washy and confused. And I'm not blaming you. This is some of the teaching we've had down through the years, because we keep teaching to go back and get them. Go back. No, listen, when Joseph got to his place of being who God designed for him to be, he never went back to the house of Israel. Never. Israel came to him and them 10, 11 knothead sons. You hear what I'm saying? And we keep going back and going back to places and going back to people and going back to situations. It's not meant for us to keep going back. Hear me. Well, I just want to extend the olive branch. If I can. No! Don't go back. When you get to your place and station in life that God intends for you to habitate, he will bring them to you. You'll come up to me. I'm not going down to you. Ooh, come on. I'm not coming down to you. And I'm not talking about having an attitude and an ego that is narcissistic. That's not what I'm talking about. But when you begin to realize and you come to yourself who you are in God and whose you are in God, you'll stop coming down from building the wall. Why should I come down to you when I'm building the wall? I'm doing a good work and I can't come down. My God. Woo, come on, KB Browns. You better sing it. Hold to God's unchanging hand. Don't let it go. Become more familiar with it. Become more intimate with it. Become more intimate with his voice. Become more intimate with his mind. My God. But stop going back. They had to. Now, look at what Egypt represented. Egypt has always been a place and a cradle of civilization. It's been a cradle of knowledge. It's been a cradle of understanding. It's been a cradle of great things. This is what Egypt represents. Now we want to take it and we'll get there. We want to take it and make it all bad and all negative. It was a place of bondage. Baby, Joseph prospered in Egypt. Joseph could not have fulfilled the mission that God had for him any place other than Egypt. Are you understanding the words that are coming out of my mouth? So when we see the greatness, the knowledge, the gifting, the power, the wealth, the abundance, everything that God gave, and so you see his family coming to him, but they didn't recognize him. Come on here. And we know how he's, inquired, then finally gets his brother Benjamin there because he knows I got a brother, I want to see him. Puts the cup in his bag, accuses him as if he's done stealing and all of that, all the while so that he could reveal himself, get his father there, all of that. But that's not my emphasis tonight. Y'all read the story and you can tell the tale. You can tell the story and go and go and all those. But this is what I am trying to emphasize tonight. There is a place where you need to come to yourself, ascend to the place that God has for you, because some of you still have a hard time seeing the place of elevation. And please understand, when I'm talking about elevation, I'm not always talking about, oh, he made me ruler. Baby, he wants you to be ruler over your world. He wants you to be ruler over your talents. He wants you to be ruler over your gifts. He wants you to be ruler over what he called you to be. He wants you to be ruler over being your created self, what he had in mind when he thought of you. See, we've twisted this so that we feel like unless I'm over something, unless I have money, unless I'm known and renowned, unless I'm all of these things that ain't about nothing. That's why you got folks out here, they doing everything damnable under the sun and don't have a relationship with God that's flourishing. I'm not going to say they don't have a relationship with God, but they don't have one that's flourishing. And at the end of the day, where is the deliverance? We can't find deliverance nowhere to save our lives. We can't find healing anywhere to save. Come on, y'all know I'm not lying. I'm telling the truth. It's so far and few between, and every now and then we might see a person of integrity. Every now and then we might see a miracle. Every now and then. Listen, God is ready to do something with the people that do know their God shall be strong and do exploits. Come on here. It's all about knowing him. What we see here in Joseph, and I want us to be clear on this, Joseph at no time relinquishes the place that God has elevated him to. He comes down, he cries with his brother. You got to be ruler over yourself before you can be ruler over anything else, KB Browns. We want to be ruler of all of this, that, and the other, and you can't rule your tongue. You can't rule your, you understand what I'm saying? You can't rule your anger. You can't rule, come on. I need you to get the knowledge, gain what you are to receive from being in Egypt. There's a reason why he sent you to Egypt and not just out there in the wilderness. Am I talking to anybody? So as I look at all of this story, Manasseh and Ephraim, oh my God, that blessing that he could have only gotten from the priestess. Come on, y'all ain't buying what I'm selling of On. Oh, I love that. The priest of On, not off. The priest of On. Come on here. Couldn't have got those two sons any other way. Could not have birthed them forth. Could not have really experienced the true depth of joy. Because listen, when you've been all the way down to the gutter, when the sun breaks through, oh my God. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. When you get the opposite, I don't care how low can you go? When God elevates you to that high, when you come out of total and utter darkness into the marvelous light, I'm telling you, there is no comparison. Do you understand? You appreciate when somebody said it this way in a song back in the 70s. If I never had any rain, how would I ever grow? If I never had any pain, how would I ever know that he gives me peace in the midst of the storm? Come on here. There's something. He ain't through with us yet, Crystal Method. He's not. He is bringing us to a place, but tonight I felt really, I wanted to talk about Manasseh and Ephraim. And I also wanted to identify once Joseph left the land of his fathers and all of the hatred of his brothers, he never went back. And what did he say? I'm going to keep pushing that. The Lord has allowed me and blessed me to forget my toil and forget the house of my father. Am I talking to anybody? Some of us, that's what God is speaking tonight. He wants you to forget the toil and forget the house of your father. Oh, I know we teach it the opposite way, but I'm talking about Joseph here because he needed the brethren to hate him so that they could sell him, throw him in the pit. He needed them to hate him so that they could sell him to the. You understand what I'm saying? All of this, God is fulfilling a plan. I'm going to keep emphasizing the integrity. Come on, stay lifted. The integrity of Joseph, that he never sold out. He just kept on. Every time another situation came, he was faithful in his response. Every time another situation came, he was faithful in his response and reactions. Every time another one, that 120-year faith. Come on, Crystal Method. He just kept on choosing right. Did I say it was perfect? That's not what I'm saying. But he kept choosing right. And really, if you look at how he walked in comparison to all of his forefathers that walked before him, oh my God, there's no comparison. Because I'm here to tell you, those other jokers were some booger bears. But we see something different. And this is what I want you to understand. We're called so that the world can see something different. Hear me. Something that's attractive, something that's healing, something that's wholesome, something that gives you something to strive for. That's an area right now. Come on, Dalen. He embodies grace and redemption, positioning us to see the bigger picture of God's plan. You better talk to me here today. Unfolding within our lives. Oh, my God. Y'all are blessing me in here. One of the things that worries me, I won't say worry. I'm not worried, but it troubles my spirit. It seems like we've left off giving folks something to reach for. Something to reach for. I can just, nothing that causes me to want to be better, do better. Come on, manifest better. Live better. It's like, hey, but this life that Joseph puts out here for us makes them leave where they are and come to where he is. This is going to be hard. And come on, KB Browns, you are the salt of the earth. But if the salt loses its saltiness, how can it be made salty again? It is no longer good for anything except to be thrown out and trampled underfoot. You are the light of the world. A city built, the town built on a hill cannot be hidden. This is the question I want you to ask yourselves. Because listen, been there, done that, but delivered. DJ Poof Pifu in here? Come on in here. Now, you know I don't stop and talk, but that's my brother. Is good. I'm so glad you're here. I didn't see you. Good evening to you, my brother. And I normally don't do that, but I love me some DJ Pifu. That's a good brother right there. What is it about going back to your father's house and to your father's children who hated you? And what I'm saying is, God is ready. We don't see Joseph going back and getting his mother's children, brother's children to marry. You understand? He's not where, I'll die if he marries of the daughters of Heth. Joseph, why? Because he's in Egypt. He's not exposed to any of that. I want y'all to hear what I'm saying. He goes into the priestly realm and gets the daughter of the priest of On, but he's not roaming around trying, where's my father's people so I can marry? Hear me and hear what I'm saying well. He starts to establish the new. Huh? He starts to establish the new. And the new brings a whole new level of wealth. And it's all done righteously. He doesn't have to maneuver. He doesn't have to manipulate. He doesn't have to trick. He doesn't have to lie. He does it all. But he does the new. I'm not going to go back and get my father's ways. I'm not going to get my grandfather's ways. I'm not going to get my brother's ways. I'm not going to get my mama's ways. I'm not going to. The ways that I follow are going to be in the new, in a new place, in a place that everybody else wants to say is evil and all of this. But listen, God used Egypt to give Joseph everything he needed. And some of y'all steady running back. Now, listen, he did say, and when y'all leave this place, because it's going to come one day when y'all going to leave up out of here. Don't y'all leave my bones here. Take me back to my father's. But at the end of the day, he, in his lifetime, in his calling, in his gifting, in his talent, he found new folk in a new place. There's a word for somebody right there. You need to find new and listen, hear me what I'm saying. Not just any old body. You need to find folk that align with the will that God has for your life. I'm not saying jump and then find yourself out of the skillet into the fire. Find that aligns with you, but y'all just won't let go of some of these folks that God is ready for you to separate from. Am I talking to anybody? You keep trying to figure, and I understand sometimes it is about you want them to see the light. You want them to be a part. You want all these good things. But listen, people have to want it for themselves. They have to choose it. They have to desire it. They have to make the way. You understand? You can't pull somebody and tug somebody along. And instead of you pulling and tugging and bringing them your direction, they are pulling and tugging you and taking you backwards. They're taking your energy down. They're taking your mind down. They're taking your emotions down. You understand? Joseph remained me to be inspired to seek forgiveness, growth, and renewal. Come on here, Dalen. And I want you to fulfill your God-given selves. Don't just be floating between halfway up, halfway down, halfway there, half on. Come on, I need y'all to find the priest of On. Half off. I want you to understand the power of you standing your ground in Egypt, maturing to a level that they don't even recognize you anymore. And that's okay. That's a good thing. Transform until they don't even recognize you anymore. But by all means, don't keep running back. Listen, and at the end of the day, the only thing that Joseph let them take back was his dead bones. Listen, I said something right there. The only thing that Joseph let them take back was his dead bones. Were his dead bones. Come on. Come on. Because my life is in the new. My place is in the new. My blessed place is in the new. My position of authority and power to what God and where God wants me to be, it's in the new. The only thing you taking back are my dead bones. Now, with that, I think 6:43. I want you all to go ahead and talk to me And I appreciate the things that you've been putting in the chat. I cannot stress enough. Stop lowering your standard, or stop trying to be so open-hearted that you keep going back to places where God has said, let that starve, let the famine kill that, let it die, unless they're going to come to you. Hear me. This is so critically important right now in this hour, especially in the times in which we're now living. There's a lot going on. I'm not doing a lot of emphasis on what's going on because I don't care about what's going on. I know what God wants to do through us. God desires to do a great thing through a great people. All of it in love. But we got to step up and stop going back to the fatherland. We got to bring the father and the rest of the family to us. All right. And again, talking in allegory. I'm going to come up and speak to everybody, and you all continue to talk in the chat if there's anything else that you want to bring out, anything else you want to address. I know I didn't teach it from the typical verse to verse to verse to verse, but I wanted to really impress on you one of the greatest things about Joseph. He walked, talked, lived, and exuded in a way that they had to come to him. They had to come to him. They had to come out of their place of comfort. They had to come out of their place of treachery. They had to come out. And then at the end of the day, they ended up acknowledging. So there you have it. One reason, again, thank you so much. Lisa Pisa, I hope this has blessed you. Kai Chick, so much mad love to you. Come on in here, stay lifted. KB Browns, I love you both. I love everybody that's in here. Coming on down. And truck driver, Kai Chick, come on. I see you in the room. I thank you, Cassandra Isaiah, for putting in such powerful words. Thank you so much. Out there in YouTube, Crystal Method, come on, be fruitful in our affliction. We got to do it. You all have blessed me tonight. Truck driver, you my guy, Mufasa. Thank you so much. I hope that I hold to his hand. Y'all better sing the song. And we are all works in progress. All of us are. So KB Browns, we're all in this together, and we're all developing and cultivating together. I just want to give us a I just want to give us this sense of reaching for excellence. Reaching for excellence. And when I say that, I'm not talking about narcissism. I'm not talking about thinking that we're better than, or being having a condescending attitude. I'm not talking about any of that. But at the same time, I need you all to stop focusing on that, and I need you to be all that God called you to be and take up space. I need you to command and demand that people raise their standards, not you going back and lowering yourselves to theirs. You understand what I'm saying? Come on, stay lifted. Walking in how God made us. That's what if you ever pay attention to my little intro, it ain't all of that, but I just put it together. But that idea of coming to our created selves. There's a reason and a purpose why God created us. And now we're striving to walk in how God made us. We're striving to walk according to who God made us to be. We're not just out here flapping in the wind, saints. We're not. We're not, folks. We're not just flapping in the wind anyway, willy-nilly. No. No, 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 no. Stand your ground. God wants to use us to do exploits, never to be exploited. Come on here, Cassandra. You better talk to me. What a word. He wants us to do exploits, not to be exploited. And I feel sometimes in our genuine desire to be all things to all people, first and foremost, you can't be all things to all people. But in our desire and in our zeal and in our effort to be all things to all people, we keep coming down. We keep going back. We keep trying to entertain. And you know what? I'm going to tell you what, the Lord started with me here and took me on to another level. But the start of it was, why do you keep trying to stay with people that don't want to be with you? What is it in you that just won't let I'm telling you, I'm talking real talk. You just won't let some of these folk that are showing you time and time again, they don't want to be bothered with you. But you just keep on because something in you, oh, I gotta. Why are we like that? Stay lifted. And when you release, because listen, as my dad used to say, if your hands are clenched, can't nothing get out, but can't nothing get in. You holding on to folks that mean you no good, or at bare minimum are not ready to transform and be transformed by the renewing of your. Okay, stay like that. We've been like this for how many years, but I'm not going to stay like this the rest of my life. I choose something different. I choose, and God, yes, the Ishmaelites came and bought me. My folks sold me off. They put me in a terrible pit. Then Potiphar, all of that. Many of us have that testimony when we look back over our lives, but why do we keep insisting on trying to attach ourselves there without letting go and saying, listen, I'm going to move to another place higher. I'm moving to another dimension. I'm moving to another realm. Either you can come over and be a part of the higher dimension, or you can stay down there, but I'm not coming back to my father's land. The only time you bringing me back to my father's land is when you bring my dead bones. But this is not where I shall live. Come on. I'll find every excuse to keep pleading. Come on, you better tell it. Stay lifted. You're not the only one. Pleading, pleasing, and trying. And the Lord is saying to you tonight, let it go. They need to come to Egypt. It's not for you to go back to Canaan land. Am I talking to anybody? I got used to mistreatment, but no more. Come on here, Kachi. And many of us had. I told you even on the other day, the story of, yes, I had somebody many times that did the same thing over and over and over again. And the people acted like it was okay for me to be mistreated. But worse than that, I acted like it was okay for me to be mistreated until the Lord finally shook me and said, shake the dust off your feet. Stop this madness. This is not turning the other cheek. This is abuse. Am I talking to anybody? And there comes a point in time where you got to stop it. And yes, Crystal Method, it is a hard habit to break. But that's why I wanted to emphasize that more so tonight, because it is a hard habit, and I've seen it on many people, men and women. It's not just women. There are men. Y'all take a licking and just keep on ticking, but you're being abused. People are abusing you, misusing you, mistreating you. And the Lord said, listen, go on to Egypt, get your education, get your knowledge, get your wisdom, operate in your gift, but make them come to you. Don't you keep going back to them. And I'm still talking about in love. I'm not talking about out of spite. I'm not talking about out of negative energy. I'm not talking about any of that. But when you can clear yourself and your energy where it doesn't matter anymore, and things happen and things are said and you don't feel that dagger in your heart turning. Am I talking to anybody? Because sometimes we don't say anything. We still go through the motions, but we feel that dagger in the heart turning. But when you get healed, let me go here and I'm going to close for real. When Jesus came back with the nails, scars in his hands, and initially he told him, touch me not, for I haven't ascended back to the Father. This is the season of Egypt where you got to ascend to the Father. That's all I'm telling you. You got to get that intimacy going. You got to get Manasseh and Ephraim solid. Hear me. But when Jesus had ascended to the Father and came back, he said, hey, touch me, handle me. And you can thrust your hand in my side. Thrust it. Go on and thrust it in there. And I'm not wincing and grimacing from the pain. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not going through all kinds of changes because it's still a painful. No, that wound was healed. That wound, we used to sing a song back in the day. I don't know if any of y'all know it. I am healed by the wound in his side. Listen, when you get healed, folks can handle you. They can put their hands in the scars of your nail scarred hands. They can thrust their hand in your side, and you don't have that sense of feeling that knife and that dagger turning. When all of that can still go on, and you listen. You understand what I'm saying? I have lost a lot of friends because of my change of lifestyle, and I refuse to be. Come on, truck. I refuse to be drawn back into that. Come on, Cassandra. Profound. Come on. I'm trying to help us. I'm trying to help us. When people come in your midst, listen, can I even come here? Sometimes you see them on the different social platforms and something just goes all over you. When you can see them and you feel not a thing. You know that song, Truck? You showing your age, man. When you can see them and you don't feel something going all over you. When you no longer have the urge to text. Am I talking to anybody? When you no longer have the urge to call the phone and just, I'm not chasing you. You understand? I love you. But guess what? I'm in Egypt. I've moved on. Come on, Mitchie Boo Foster. Blessed evening to you. And this is where I want you. This is getting in the presence of God is what heals that wound. Can I say that? But you also got to work through your stuff. I'm not going to do just fast and pray. We've been saying a lot of that for years and years and years. And I'm not minimizing that at all because there's power there. But I want you to understand you've got to work through your stuff. Don't make this some religious cliche, put off, playing. You got to work. You got to do the work on yourself. Come on. Offer them to place their hands in the wounds so that they'll believe, they'll know you healed. You understand what I'm saying? When they can thrust their hand in the wound in your side that they might have even made or watch the people making it. That's healed. You can't take me back with that. And let me tell you what that does. It takes the power out of their hands that they wield over you. Did you hear what I said? I'm going to say it once more and again. It takes the power out of their hands that they've used to wield power over you. When they realize there's no more power, and you know what? I'm going to tell you what. I'm at the place and phase in my life. I don't care whether they realize they don't have power over me or not. I don't care. I'm not saying I don't care about them, but I'm no longer in that power struggle. I don't have anything to prove to anybody. What I have and what I desire is relationship with God, intimacy, and to be all that I am created to be. So that time that I would have spent sitting somewhere, I'm polishing the gift. You understand? Use that time wisely. Use that time constructively. Use that energy for something that's going to matter in your life. All of that time, energy, and effort you've been giving to other people and they've been treating it and trampling it underfoot. Listen, take that same energy, that same time, that same love, that same power and invest in yourself. Am I talking to anybody? Mitchie Boo Foster, I just want to stop before I leave and say good evening to you and thank you so much for coming in our Bible study. Well, I think I'm right at the 7 o'clock hour. Yes, I just saw that Crystal Method. All things are possible. All things are, and I want you to have that in your mind. I can do. We used to say this all the time in our little children's class. And I'm talking about before we were even in, we called it Wee Walkers class. We weren't even school age yet. We were toddlers. But that would be one of the first things they would teach us. I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. You can do all things. You can. Don't let the adversary of your mind or anybody else tell you anything different. Don't let it, because you can do all things, and all things are possible to him that believe it. All right. I love you guys. I hope this has been helpful. I hope this has blessed you. Don't go back to your father's lands. Get Manasseh, get Ephraim, get them solid. Know that you can forget the toil and you can forget your father's house and still be in God. And you can be fruitful in your affliction. I love you. I really, really do. Now, we'll be back tomorrow night, 6 o'clock. Come on, while y'all running and telling that, you'll be polishing your gift. Come on, Crystal Method. I love it. Rechannel that energy. Y'all sitting up crying over spilt milk and who this and who that and who doesn't. And baby, rechannel that energy. Rechannel that energy. Come on out here and polish the gift. I love you so much. We're out of here. All in love, Jabez. All in love. I love you, man. Thank you for coming in tonight. That's my baby right there. I love me some him, and he is so anointed. You are a mighty man of God. You're a mighty person, I love you with everything that you bring to the table, every facet of you. I love it all. Now, and it's all in love. It's all in love. If you still feel a little tinge of animosity, anger, negativity, retaliation, retribution, that's a good indicator that you're not all the way healed. I'm not going to say you're not healed, but you're not all the way, because if that little tinge of it rears its head, there's still something there. But when you can get to that place where all in love, you release that thing and have no negative that comes over you and in you, baby, stick your hand in my side, because I am healed. All right. I love you. I love you. I love you. I'll see you on tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. I appreciate those that have taken the time to come. You're my blessing. You really, really are. Every last one of you. Now, as I always like to say, this is the place that you want to be if you are studying and have never gone from Genesis to Revelation, and we're doing it in chronological order. This is the place to be every night at 6 o'clock. We'll see you right here. So much love coming to you. Peace for your journey. DJ P-Foo is in the house. I love you, sir.